Right, have you seen this? 157 million euros. That's crazy. Someone's going to be fuming about this. But yeah, Ireland. I don't know whether it's the Kinahan. I don't know whether the Kinahans, because their stronghold is Dubai now. I don't think they've had their base because their guy got nicked, didn't he? And then the younger lot took over. However that worked. Ireland's gangland stuff is kicking off too, as well as the Scottish. But yeah, let's see what this is saying. Let's go.
On September 23rd, 2023, a Panama-flagged cargo ship called the MV Matthew entered Irish territorial waters, having set off from Curaçao, an island off the coast of Venezuela. Unbeknownst to its crew, suspicions about the ship's activities had been communicated to An Garda Síochána's Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau. The ship was being monitored, with the belief that its cargo may contain illegal drugs. On September 22nd, the day before the MV Matthew entered Irish waters, two men bought a fishing trawler called the FV Castlemore in West Cork, paid for by an organised crime group. The activities of the crews on board both vessels would result in a dramatic joint task force operation carried out at sea in gale force winds and would lead to the largest drug seizure in the history of the state.
Damn, that is a lot.
At 3:30 p.m. on September 22nd, the Castlemore trawler departed Castletown Bearhaven with two men on board. These men were communicating with criminal cells in Dubai and beyond, who in turn were communicating with the MV Matthew, the mothership. While these men were at sea, criminals were directing operations on land. Between the 22nd and 24th of September 2023, the Castlemore travelled along the south coast of Ireland. Evidence confirms that it attempted to meet with the MV Matthew, positioned off the Waterford coast, on a number of occasions to carry out a major drugs drop. Each attempt failed due to a variety of reasons, such as loss of Wi-Fi signal, engine difficulties, and adverse weather conditions. Messages between the Castlemore, MV Matthew, and criminal cells on land reveal discussions about how the drug drop from the mothership should take place. 6 jumbo bags containing 2.2 tons of cocaine were to be lowered by a crane onto the Castlemore in darkness, directed on deck by a torch. When the MV Matthew made one last attempt to arrange the rendezvous with the Castlemore by staying in place, they were contacted by the Irish Coast Guard on September 24th, who inquired about their lack of movement and to warn about poor weather conditions. This is the first contact with the criminal organisation made by an Irish authority. Another rendezvous point for the following day is shared in the group chat, and the MV Matthew crew decide to place the cocaine in life rafts in order to lower it into the water to complete the drugs drop due to adverse weather conditions.
Oh, that is
At
risky.
11:10 p.m. on September 24th, almost at the exact time that these plans were being put in place, a distress call was put out by the crew of the Castlemore to the Irish Coast Guard as the vessel ran aground on a sandbank off the Wexford coast. The OR-117 Irish Coast Guard helicopter was deployed to rescue the crew of the Castlemore. They were airlifted to the Irish Navy's LEWB Yates and brought to Rosslare Harbour. On September 25th, the crew of the MV Matthew realised that it was the Castlemore that released the distress call. Their plan changes. Messages reveal a plan to load all the cocaine into one lifeboat, scrape away all markings on the lifeboat, have crew members drive it and rendezvous with another boat. Although they would eventually move the drugs into the lifeboat, their plan to place it in the water never takes place. Voice messages are now sent from an individual in Dubai who calls himself Captain Noah and who has been directing the drugs operation via text messages.
Sergeant Guru Zadam LB, lifeboat, proceed. Proceed with lifeboat.
At 10:10 a.m, both men from the Castlemore trawler were arrested at Rosslare Harbour after disembarking from the Irish Navy ship, the WB Yates. Little did they know, they too were being monitored, and by calling the Coast Guard for rescue, had essentially handed themselves in. On the evening of September 25th, likely understanding the gravity of the situation, the captain of the MV Matthew now makes contact with the Irish Coast Guard and requests to be airlifted off the ship due to illness. He's taken to Waterford Hospital, where he would later be arrested. 3 phones and €40,000 in cash were seized from him.
What? Didn't anyone think, bro, be sick or die? We ain't calling no one. We're literally in the middle of doing the biggest smuggling operation of ever, and your tummy's bad, and you criminal stupidity, I guess.
The second officer of the ship would now have to take charge. Noah in Dubai left this message.
Okie dokie, Vitaly. Good luck, your first command. Unfortunately, the flag is Panama. I cannot make you real captain because it requires COC, and quick COCs are not acceptable by Panama. But anyhow, we will go ahead. We will go ahead for now.
The MV Matthew is now 13 nautical miles off the coast of Waterford. Messages show at this point that the MV Matthew would drop anchor and conduct a plan to carry out the drugs drop. If contacted by authorities, they would say that they had engine trouble.
Had a talk with agents. You are good to drop anchor at the position Captain Said will advise. We will wait at this position until we do the job. So the job is engine repairs.
The reason for drop...
I like this guy. I like how calm this guy is, because if this was me, I'd be shitting myself. He just is like, yep, everything's sweet. And I like as if you're saying, oh yeah, pick us up some milk before you get round, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I would be... Think how risky this operation is already, just off the weather alone.
Anchor at this particular location, the criminal organisation believed that they were in international waters. They were, however, as would later be proven in court, in a contiguous zone, which in maritime law is a belt of ocean extending from a country's territorial sea, in this case Ireland, within which a coastal state can enforce laws related to customs and more. At 4:52 a.m, a custom officer on board the Irish Navy vessel LEWB Yates began hailing the MV Matthew and directed them to sail to Cork.
MV Matthew, Hotel 3, Golf, Golf. This is Irish Patrol, Papa 6-3 on your starboard side. MV Matthew, Irish Customs. Under Section 26 of the Customs Act 2015, I am directing your vessel to the port of Cork.
After each communication from the WB Yates, the Irish Navy vessel, panicked messages are sent back and forth between the crew and others involved in the operation.
All the communication with the Coast Guard, whatever Coast Guard is telling you, please send in the group. I hope that nothing will be against our wish, against our will, and everything goes to the favor of everybody.
At approximately 5:30 a.m. on September 26th, officers from the Irish Customs and the Irish Navy on board the LEWB Yates tell the MV Matthew that they wish to board.
Our attention to put Customs Board party on board your vessel. Can you please confirm how long it would take you to provide a board ladder? Over.
The criminal organisation now begin to send messages about Irish maritime law, believing that if they head further into international waters, the Irish authorities will not be able to board.
Increase your distance from the land, you will get the proper instruction for further steps. And God bless.
You don't want that being what the guy that's putting it all together says. God bless. God help you. Yeah. But I'm sure that it is, so they're just in. But because John Wedger says that about where he thinks a lot of children that went missing that was used by elites and all of that. But he's like, if you drive a boat 14 miles is the cut-off point. If you drive out there and dump a body, ain't no one gonna find it, and it's in no one's jurisdiction to be able to prosecute you anyway. But yeah, that's a good point. Just drive out to the ocean. But surely, if they've given you a command and you, I don't know actually, as I was thinking about it with police, if police is, say if Surrey police is chasing you and you go into Met police, they'd have to hand it off, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Course and try to evade the Irish Navy ship. At 11:38 a.m., the Irish Naval Service confirmed that the MV Matthew was travelling towards the border of the contiguous zone into international waters, and it became clear to them that they were now engaged in hot pursuit of the MV Matthew.
Be advised, we are now in a hot pursuit situation. Over.
Noah in Dubai attempts to calm the crew.
As you can see, the method of boarding in case of not being in territorial waters is different. So don't get panic.
He sounds like he's Googling this as he goes. As you can see here on Google, it definitely says, "You're sweet." Oh, don't panic. Keep going. And God help you.
The call sign for the LEWB Yates now changes to Irish Warship. Between 12:51 p.m. and 1:12 p.m., the Irish Navy ship continued to pursue and engage with the MV Matthew.
You are obstructing a customs officer in conducting their duty, which carries a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison on an indictment conviction. We are requesting that you alter your course to starboard, do a safe course, a more direct route to Cork immediately. Over.
I have fired a warning shot. Do you understand? Over.
Irish Warship, please don't fire at us. We are not in contagious zone, nor your local jurisdiction. Can you advise if you are in hot pursuit of us? Because we are commercial vessels, please do not endanger our safety.
Our convention and the law of the sea applies. We are in hot pursuit. You will not comply with my orders. I will now issue a further warning shot.
Bro, I'm playing.
Messages show the criminal organisation now in full panic.
Yeah,
They
I'd
order
be
one
too.
another to delete all messages and set the cocaine on board the lifeboat on fire. Devices seized by Gardaí would later be forensically analysed, retrieving vital evidence. At 1:12 p.m, the WB Yates gave its final instruction to the MV Matthew.
Motor vessel Matthew, this is Irish Warship. I understand that you have received charter instructions to proceed to Sierra Leone. You are to ignore those orders and comply with my instruction. My instruction remains that you proceed direct to Cork Harbour. Do you understand? Over.
The man, calling himself Captain Noah in Dubai, delivering instructions, is convinced that the Irish authorities cannot board the vessel.
Till now, there is no helicopter for you guys, no commando, nothing. Okay? Be confident. There is a law preventing them to board the ship. My stress level is near to heart attack. Try to be calm. Be calm. Give your final command and demand to the warship and the custom with confidence. Switch off VHF, full speed go.
An Irish air
Don't you love people that say, "Don't panic," when they are nowhere near the situation? Give your command to an Irish warship. I don't think they're going to take your command, bro. Be confident when you talk to them. It's like, yeah, this is not the time where this is going to work. Just go full speed, keep going.
helicopter carrying
The fact that he said he's near heart attack and there isn't, his voice has not changed.
members of the Defence Forces Army Ranger Wing is now spotted by the MV Matthew crew.
If the chopper's coming, put the lifeboat on fire and it. Otherwise, good luck.
At 1:32 p.m, the Army Ranger Wing, an elite group within the Defence Forces, board the MV Matthew by fast roping to secure the vessel. They do this during high winds and with the MV Matthew erratically manoeuvring. The chase was over. Members of An Garda Síochána's Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau, members of the Irish Navy and Revenue's Customs Services were transferred onto the cargo vessel and travelled on it to Cork Harbour under escort from the LEWB Yates. 2.2 tonnes of cocaine with an estimated street value of €157 million was located partially burned in a lifeboat on the MV Matthew and seized. This operation was the result of bravery, skill and multi-agency collaboration. It was successful in its aim to disrupt, to dismantle and to prosecute those involved in organised crime.
I would never do a job for that guy again, though. Be confident. It's fine. All right, if they send helicopters, just put on a lifeboat and fuck it. That is not a good end result. Like, yeah, something tells me that guy got whacked, because especially once these voicemails come out, these don't make him look good. But then who put him in charge of the operation? That was like a sitcom handling of a situation. I was wondering that too when they say that. So I guess that when they give you the value, they give you the value of its street. But then how do they determine that? 'Cause it depends on if you can break it down in. I suppose if you just break it down into how many grams and how much a gram in that respect. But still, if that's pure or near pure, it's going to get cut 100 times. There's not really telling how much, but I guess, yeah. I was thinking that, is that 157 in its value, sale value, or its street sale value? It's a wholesale value or street sale value, but they said, yeah, street value. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. God bless you. Oh, that is not what you want to hear. I know someone who shots, sells drugs. The guy he gets off of thinks his phone's tapped, and he said to me, well, you'll know if I get nicked because you'll be sharing the cell with me. That's not something you want to hear from your link, from your connect. Do you know what I mean? He still gets off him. But yeah, that's the reactions.